on the verge of finding some things about them, studying some folk, but I will tell you, it's also in our athletics. There are athletes who had to change the number that they wore to equal 6, to give a sign, to get this ability to go beyond what a natural person can do. I'm not going to tell you any of them yet, but I will find out. And when I do, it's a point of how to pray for them so we can know what our children are getting involved in. Okay? Now, with this Baphomet's head, you remember I showed you earlier the head? When Beyonce made this album, this project, she was on the front of it with this. This is Baphomet's head. It looks like she's riding a motorcycle, but actually it's the very same thing. Baphomet's, his head, his horns, and that look. And it's all over the place. It's not only she did it, but Madonna. And I'm going to show you that. This is Baphomet again. Madonna actually puts on the outfit, and she actually takes on the same pose as Baphomet. She puts on the horns. She has a star in the crown. She moves her hands in the same position as Baphomet. You have to give a sign, and that's what the Illuminati, that's what they look for. If you're with us, give us a sign. And that way it continues. If you remember, I don't know if you were here last week, but I showed you the very first picture I put up was thousands, tens of thousands, but thousands of young people all making that sign on the stage. This is what they have to do. Now, the enlightened ones is what they call themselves. It's a secret society that started back in 1776, but I don't want to go through all of that. I just want you to know that there is a connection to it and how they believe how to fight what we're doing. Our children see this stuff all the time. I don't know if you can see it clearly. I'm trying to get out the light. You might can see. This here again is a sign. This is what's on our dollar bill. It's the eye, the pyramid that's not complete, the all-seeing eye. This is the symbol that children make, young folk make, and there are lots of people who make this sign, and still we have to be aware of it being the effect. But I want you to look at Lil Wayne here. This is a guy, I really pray for him. He's from, Lil Wayne is from New Orleans. He has really gone to another level with his music and the way he carries himself. You can't see it well, but if you can see the horns, I believe. I'm going to start behind him. But look at the shirt that he's wearing. His hands are in his pocket. Look at the way he's saying. It's as if something has him by the shoulders. See that? It's like those are fingers. It's like somebody is holding him or controlling him. Can you see that? Those are fingers. I mean, it's a shirt he has on or some kind of outfit, but his hands are in his pocket. But if you look at it closely, it's like it's a Luciferic, satanic hold on him. If you have ever seen him perform, his eyes rolls back in his head. And it's like he's dancing. Beyonce did the same thing. That the dancing, she'll tell you. She said, when Sasha takes over me, she said, I can't do the moves. That when they showed me dancing, she said, I can't do that. I even tried it, but when Sasha takes me over, this is what I'm able to do. Same thing with this young man here, that when he starts to move on the stage, his eyes roll back, and it's amazing the way they present themselves. Now, some of the words, again, you need to look at the words that our children are listening to. The reason they're not affected so well, or now not being moved in our services, is the level of prayer we got to move into to war against that. The stronger we have prayer ministries in our church, the greater our prayer ministries are, the more we can attack these things. Yes. Okay? One more. This is a little risky here, but I need you to know a girl named Rihanna. Rihanna is on my prayer list too. God said, I will put enmity between the woman and the serpent, between her seed and his seed. Anybody remember that?
Oh, yes.
Genesis chapter 3. Okay? Now, when a woman in the natural would wrap up with snakes. Okay, now I've seen this on several occasions, and I knew when it happens, and some of the people that do this, that something is wrong here. First of all, most women, I don't know, any woman here can handle snakes, like to touch live snakes? No. Just for the juice, no? No. Okay. Nobody, okay. Now, I know you don't mind wearing snakeskin shoes, or, you know, or maybe a snakeskin purse or something like that, but the snake better be dead and not look like a snake. The idea is that. But you see Rihanna here? Now, this is Medusa. You know her? The woman that turned, when you looked at her, she turned you into stone, the Greek mythology. So she is actually dressed with all the snakes on her head and wrapped with, I don't know if it's a python or anaconda. I can't tell the difference. I don't know the difference. You know, when they're that big, I think they should be dead. Okay. But then now on the second picture, each time she's naked, here again, I'm going to share something with you momentarily that you will notice that she has fangs in her mouth, like she's going to bite the snake. She is now snakes. She has two snakes, and they're one now. And the spirit is no clothes on. Right across her, under her dress, she has a hieroglyphic tattoo. It's I can't think of the Isis. I think it's the prince is called Isis with the wings, but she has that under her chest. This is tattooed on her body. She's a very attractive girl, and you say Beyonce, very attractive. And here's the problem that the church has: if something is pretty, we have a hard time dealing with it as evil. As long as when it's ugly, that's the devil. My God, you need Jesus, and you need him right now. We'll go off on that. My God, get him, honey. Let me give you blood. But when it's pretty, we hesitate. And when it sings a little gospel, you know, I had some folks who told me, I can't remember who it was, but anyway, somebody did a 19-track album project and did the Lord's Prayer on one of them. And they bought the whole project for the Lord's Prayer. I said, baby, I could have sang that for you. You could put the money in the check. You didn't buy it for that one Lord's Prayer. You know the Lord's Prayer. You bought it because that was an excuse for you to enjoy the other 18 tracks. Am I making sense? Yes. So here she is right here with a cross upside down. Here's another thing. They have to show you the sign. Okay? The sign. Cross upside down, which means to denounce. That's why the peace sign is truly not a peace sign. It's really the cross being broken. Okay? Turn upside down and break it. So it looks like a peace sign. You put a circle around it. It's really another sign to say Antichrist against the will of God. Now, what I want to tell you was simply this, that one of the things that I remember, and you may remember this, when Jesus cast the devil out of a man, the man who had a devil called legions. And there was something this man could not do. There was several things he could not do. One, he couldn't keep clothes on. He could not keep clothes on. He had supernatural power. No matter what they chains or fetters they put on him, there was nothing strong enough to hold this man. I mean, here you are, they could control animals, huge animals. They could lock them down. But this one man was so possessed with this power that he could break those chains as if there were nothing. He couldn't sleep, he couldn't rest, he howled, and he couldn't go home. He couldn't sit still. He even cursed Jesus. When Jesus came at him, the spirit in him, at first he came to worship, but then all of a sudden the spirit, I adjure you. This thing started cursing Jesus. So all this was going on inside of one man because of what the devils had possessed him. Okay? If you pay attention to what our young folk are going through, these entertainers, and many of our people, when they interview on the stage, when they interview after a game, they got to show their chest, they got to show these tattoos, they got to show their bodies. It's a spirit that says, I want you to be nude. I want you to show yourself. And that spirit wars. Now, when the Lord cast that spirit out of the man, oh my gosh, I'm past my time. I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to stop. But when the Lord cast the devil out of the man, he could sit, he was clothed, he was in his right mind, he was able, he no longer had supernatural power, he lost that spirit. What I'm saying to you is, there's a spirit. When you see these young folk doing these things, pay attention. The next time you see one start doing that break dancing, it's not called break dancing anymore, it's called something different. Watch him or her. They start in one point, they go 5 points. They're moving and they're touching 5 points. They're making a start. The circle's already around it. And as they do it, they get power. They can do unreal things because of that. Spirits are able to give people supernatural power. Aleister Crowley has supernatural power. And he could go in and make him one of the biggest and the most incredible secret agents because of that supernatural power. Okay? Whether you believe me or not, this is what's happening. And that's what happens when you see people doing this sort of thing. They can't keep clothes on. They got to show their bodies. It's got to be a sexual thing. Okay? I heard something the other day about somebody who did that. I don't know his name, but they were shocked that he took off his coat, shirt. He showed his chest in something where he should have been clothed. He didn't. Read this with me right quick, and I'm gonna bring this to a close. We're not gonna be here next week, and I need to share one more thing with you. All right? Put this up as I'll remember. Read Deuteronomy 32, verses 16 and 17. All right, come on. They provoke him to jealousy with strange gods, with abominations provoke they him to anger. They sacrifice unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came from newly up, whom your father feared not. My God. This word fear means to respect, to reverence, to honor. Your father knew better than to mess with this. But here now, we got people rearing up with a new mindset. They can come into our churches and feel absolutely nothing because they've already been empowered by another supernatural spirit. This is what the warfare is. Now, the words, I'm going to just break down a couple of them because one of the words for devil is shadim in that scripture, shadim. And shadim is a shaggy devil. Please remember, it's a shaggy devil, and it means what you see here, vicious, injurious, filled with an indignation, with no respect for anything. They bring divination, an aggressive nature. They have no respect. As a matter of fact, when one is filled with the shaking devil, the wildness is what they're looking at. They have no control, and you can't stop them. Once they stop, the more the spirit takes over them, the more violent they become. Michael Jackson was a Nephilim. He was one of the biggest Nephilims ever known. Nephilims were spirits that when God told Joshua to go into the land of Canaan, there were giants. They were men who were 30 feet tall. Not only 30 feet tall and big, but they were very intelligent men. You may remember the Bible said that when the sons of God saw the daughters of men, they came in to them and had a sexual relationship and produced renowned men of great understanding, athletic men, tall men, good looking, incredibly fine brothers. Okay? And they were smart, but they had to be killed. God raised up the children of Israel to go in to clear the land. Okay? That's why we have to be aware of the kind of warfare that we're dealing with. I hope this makes sense to some of you. All right, now there's another word called satyrs. Satyrs are another kind of devil that has to do with the shaggy one I'm telling you about. That's right, they're the one who's shaggy, I'm sorry. And this is where we need to recognize, as we read in St. Mark, you see there, the Bible speaks of the Syrophoenician woman, remember her, who said, my daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. And the Lord wouldn't pay attention to her, and eventually he said, woman's not bread, is not meat to give the children bread to dogs. She said, hey Lord, but even the dogs get the crumbs that falls on the master's table. She said, now because you said that, not the dogs get crumbs, but because you recognize me as your master. Because you recognize me as your master, go home. Your daughter's been already free from that sergeant's devil. She's already free. Her acknowledging Jesus as the master and not the devil as a master caused her daughter to be free, and she wasn't even there when the devil left. Wow. That's what I'm telling you. The power of prayer and our coming under the headship of God frees us from spirit, frees our children from spirit, frees our church from spirit when we acknowledge God and Jesus Christ as master. I hope that makes some sense here. The fight, my friend, is unclean, filthy spirits. And as we go through this life, there's some things that we have to recognize. That shaggy spirit is why the he-goat or the goat of Baphomet looks like that. Because it's a spirit. That's who he is. He's a shading devil that possesses people to make them wild. And that's what he does. Matter of fact, Aleister Crowley's mother called him the most wicked man in the world. When your mama called you wicked, you gotta be horrible. Okay, your own mother. So that's how he works. And so when you get this kind of spirit going, on Michael Jackson's project, I can't remember, he didn't do Yellow. No, the Beatles did Yellow Submarine. And on the Yellow Submarine, Alistair Crawley pictures in there. Michael Jackson did the project, and I can't see it now, the name of it, but on it he has a child in someone's hand, a little child in someone's hand holding the skeleton of some kind of animal that's dead, and Alistair Crawley pictures in there. All these different objects and things, he has Alistair Crawley's pictures in there. When he did the project, that last project where he did being like he was possessed, when they finished videoing, Michael Jackson couldn't stop dancing for several hours. That spirit had him so he couldn't even stop dancing. I'm telling you that these spirits are so real, but the problem is the only people who don't believe in them are the church. Wow. It's the church. Okay. So when we wake up one day and realize what we need to war against, and the reason we pray is to fight against this kind of spirit, and so our children can be free. Schools have gone to such a degree of fighting and disarray and uncontrollable. We're trying to bring more police in, but you can't stop the police. Thank God for our law enforcement. Thank God for the laws being passed. But laws are being passed, and we keep asking for more and more laws. All we're doing is setting ourselves up for the Antichrist. Then we're going to give away our freedom, so when it comes in, we have no freedom. We're already giving it away. We're not taking authority and charge of our communities. We're depending on other people to do what we ought to be doing in ourselves. Well, forgive me for preaching, but I'm going to stop right here. 2 minutes over. Thank you so much. My play. Our play. We want to tell you about this. We have a play at our church Friday and Saturday. It's called Hope's Light. We have several. If you don't get a ticket just for yourself, please buy one for a child that's unsaved. This is one thing about bringing family back.